Imagine giving up your first-class seat for two little girls, only to uncover a life-changing secret about their mom. This heartwarming story will leave you speechless. Hit that subscribe button and join our community for more incredible tales that inspire and surprise. The hum of the airport was a familiar symphony to Daniel Harper, a 38-year-old software engineer who had spent the last decade crisscrossing the globe for work. His dark hair was streaked with premature gray, a testament to long nights coding and longer days negotiating with clients. Today, he was at Chicago O'Hare, boarding a transatlantic flight to London Heathrow. He clutched his boarding pass, the words "First Class, Seat 2A," printed in crisp black ink. It was a rare treat, a company-funded upgrade after a grueling project in Silicon Valley. Daniel was looking forward to 8 hours of legroom, a glass of bourbon, and uninterrupted sleep. The gate agent scanned his pass, and he stepped onto the jet bridge, the cool air tinged with the scent of jet fuel. As he settled into the plush leather seat, he glanced out the window at the tarmac, where baggage handlers scurried like ants. The cabin was quiet, save for the soft clink of champagne flutes and the murmur of privileged passengers. Daniel opened his laptop, intending to review a few emails before takeoff, but his attention was drawn to a commotion at the front of the cabin. Two little girls, no older than 6 and 8, stood in the aisle, their faces flushed with excitement and confusion. The older one, with braids tied with pink ribbons, clutched a stuffed unicorn, while the younger, her hair, a mess of curls, held a crumpled boarding pass. Their matching blue dresses were slightly wrinkled, as if they'd been running through the terminal. Behind them, a harried flight attendant named Karen, her name tag slightly askew, was trying to sort out a problem. "I'm so sorry, sir," Karen said, addressing a man in a pinstriped suit seated in 2B. "These girls were supposed to be in first class, but there's been a mix-up with the booking." The man snorted, adjusting his cufflinks. "Not my problem. I paid for this seat." Daniel's eyes flicked to the girls, who were now whispering to each other, the younger one looking like she might cry. Karen's voice grew strained. "We're overbooked in economy, and their guardian isn't here yet." If someone could, Daniel closed his laptop, a decision forming before he could overthink it. "I'll switch," he said, standing up. Karen blinked, surprised. "Sir, are you sure? You'd be moving to economy, row 32, middle seat." Daniel shrugged, offering a half-smile. "I've survived worse. Let the kids have it." The girls' faces lit up, and the older one mumbled a shy "thank you, Mr. Daniel" gathered his carry-on and followed Karen to the back of the plane, weaving through the crowded economy cabin. Row 32 was as bad as promised, a cramped middle seat between a snoring retiree and a teenager blasting music through leaky earbuds. The overhead bin was full, so he shoved his bag under the seat, his knees brushing the tray table. As the plane taxied, Daniel tried to ignore the discomfort, focusing instead on the girls' laughter drifting from first class. He wondered about their story. Where was their guardian? Why were they alone? The flight attendant, Karen, stopped by later with a complimentary coffee. "That was kind of you," she said. "Not many would give up first class." Daniel waved it off. "They're kids, they deserve a break." Karen hesitated, then added, "Their mom's supposed to meet them in London. She's someone important, I think." Daniel nodded, uninterested in gossip, and sipped his coffee, which tasted like burnt regret. The flight stretched on, turbulence jostling the plane over the Atlantic. Daniel dozed fitfully, his neck stiff from the awkward angle. He thought about his life, successful but solitary. His apartment in San Francisco, a sterile box of glass and steel. He hadn't spoken to his parents in months, and his last relationship had fizzled 2 years ago. Maybe, he mused, small acts like this were his way of balancing the scales. As the plane descended into Heathrow, Daniel's thoughts were interrupted by an announcement. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've been asked to hold at the gate for a VIP." Passenger groans rippled through the cabin, but Daniel barely noticed, too busy stretching his cramped legs. When the doors finally opened, he shuffled off the plane, his economy seat a distant memory. In the terminal, he spotted the two girls near the gate, now holding hands with a woman in a tailored navy suit. She was in her early 40s, with sharp cheekbones and a cascade of dark hair. Her presence commanded attention, and Daniel noticed security personnel hovering nearby. The girls were chattering excitedly, pointing at their unicorn and showing off their first-class goodie bags. The woman smiled, but her eyes scanned the crowd, landing briefly on Daniel. He looked away, assuming she was just another wealthy parent, and headed toward customs. The line was endless, a snaking mass of tired travelers. Daniel was halfway through when a man in a black suit tapped his shoulder. "Mr. Harper, I'm with Horizon Airlines. Would you come with me, please?" Confused, Daniel followed, his mind racing. Had he done something wrong? The man led him to a private lounge, where the woman from the gate was waiting, the girls now playing with tablets in the corner. "I'm Elena Marquez," she said, extending a hand. Her voice was warm but authoritative, with a faint accent. Daniel couldn't place. "Those are my daughters, Sophia and Lily. I understand you gave up your seat for them." Daniel nodded, unsure where this was going. It was nothing, really. Just seemed like the right thing. Elena's smile deepened. Not nothing to me. I'm the CEO of Horizon Airlines. I'd like to thank you properly. Daniel's jaw dropped. The CEO, he stammered. I didn't know. I just thought they were kids who needed a seat. Elena laughed, a sound that put him at ease. That's what makes it remarkable. Most people don't act without expecting something in return. She handed him a sleek black card with her name and a private number. Call me when you're back in the States, I owe you. Daniel pocketed the card, still processing. Sophia and Lily ran over, hugging his legs. Thank you, Mr. Nice Man. Lily chirped. Daniel ruffled their hair, feeling a warmth he hadn't in years. As he left the lounge, his mind buzzed. What had just happened? He'd given up a seat and stumbled into a connection with one of the most powerful women in aviation. The black card felt heavy in his pocket, a promise of something he couldn't yet define. The rest of his London trip was a blur: meetings, dinners, jet lag. But Daniel couldn't shake the encounter. Back in San Francisco, he stared at the card on his kitchen counter, debating whether to call. What would he even say? He wasn't one for networking or favors, but something about Elena's sincerity stuck with him. Finally, he dialed. Her assistant answered, and within hours, Daniel was invited to Horizon's headquarters in Dallas. Nervous, he packed a suit and flew out, wondering if this was a mistake. The headquarters was a gleaming glass tower, and Elena's office overlooked the city skyline. She greeted him like an old friend, her daughter's drawings pinned to a corkboard behind her desk. I've been thinking about your gesture, she said. Horizon's launching a new initiative: free travel for foster kids. I want you to help us build the tech platform. Daniel blinked. I'm flattered, but I'm just a coder. Why me? Elena leaned forward. Because you're not just a coder. You're someone who acts with heart. That's rarer than you. Think. She offered him a consultant role, a 6-month contract with a generous fee. Daniel hesitated. It meant uprooting his life, working in a new city, diving into an unfamiliar world. But as he looked at the drawings of unicorns and airplanes, he thought of Sophia and Lily, and something clicked. I'm in, he said. The next months were a whirlwind. Daniel moved to Dallas, renting a small apartment near the office. He worked late nights, designing a platform that streamlined travel for kids in foster care: background checks, escorts, real-time tracking. Elena was a demanding boss, but fair, and their meetings often stretched into dinners, where they talked about more than work. She shared stories of her rise in the airline industry, a Latina woman breaking barriers in a male-dominated field. Daniel opened up about his own struggles, his fear of being alone, his need to prove himself. One evening, over tacos at a food truck, Elena confessed why the initiative mattered. Sophia and Lily were in foster care before I adopted them. She said, I know what it's like to feel unmoored. You giving up that seat, it reminded me why I do this. Daniel was stunned. The girls' bright smiles hid a past he hadn't imagined. He felt a deeper connection to the project, and to Elena. As the platform neared completion, Horizon threw a launch event, inviting foster kids from across Texas. Sophia and Lily were there, handing out tiny model airplanes. Daniel watched them, his heart full. He'd given up a seat and gained a purpose. The launch of Horizon's foster travel initiative was a triumph, splashed across headlines from Dallas to London. Daniel stood in the background at the event, uncomfortable in a borrowed suit, as Elena gave a speech about second chances. The crowd, social workers, airline staff, local politicians cheered when she introduced the platform, calling it a bridge for kids who need it most. Daniel's name was mentioned, and he ducked his head, unused to applause. Sophia and Lily, now his unofficial cheerleaders, tugged him onto the stage, their giggles drowning out his protests. Elena handed him a plaque, her eyes sparkling. This is as much yours as ours, she said. The room erupted, and Daniel felt a surge of pride, tempered by the nagging thought, what now? His contract was ending, and while Elena had hinted at a permanent role, Daniel wasn't sure he belonged in this world of galas and press releases. He was a coder, happiest behind a screen, not shaking hands with donors. That night, as he loosened his tie in his apartment, he replayed the day. The kids' faces, the platform's potential. It was bigger than him. But so was the pull he felt toward Elena, a connection he hadn't dared name. The next morning, Elena called him to her office. We're expanding the program internationally, she said. I want you to lead the tech side full-time, based here or wherever you choose. Daniel's heart raced. A permanent job with Horizon meant stability, impact, and a chance to stay near Elena and the girls. But it also meant leaving San Francisco, his comfort zone, for good. Can I think about it? He asked. Elena nodded. Take a week. But Daniel, you're family now. The word family lingered as he left, stirring memories of his own childhood: distant parents, a brother he hadn't seen in years. He spent the week walking Dallas's streets, from the bustling arts district to quiet parks where kids played. He thought of Sophia and Lily, whose resilience mirrored the kids the platform served. On the 6th day, he called his mom, their first real talk in months. I think I'm finally doing something that matters, he said. She cried, and Daniel realized how much he'd missed her voice. He made his decision. Accepting the job was like stepping into a new life. Daniel relocated permanently, trading his sterile San Francisco flat for a cozy Dallas townhouse. He dove into the international expansion, traveling to London, Sydney, and Tokyo to meet with airline partners. The platform grew, serving thousands of foster kids, and Daniel's team swelled to include developers he mentored, many from underserved communities. Alina was a constant presence, their bond deepening over late-night strategy sessions and weekend outings with the girls. One Sunday, at a zoo outing, Lily slipped her hand into Daniel's, calling him Uncle Dan. Sophia rolled her eyes but grinned, and Elena's laugh was brighter than the Texas sun. Daniel realized he wasn't just building a platform, he was building a home. But doubts crept in. Could he keep up with Elena's world? She was a titan, her name on Forbes lists, while he was just a guy who'd given up a seat. He confided in Karen, the flight attendant from that fateful flight, now a friend, after joining Horizon's staff. "You're not just anything," she said. "You changed those girls' day, and now you're changing lives. Own it." A year after the launch, Horizon hosted a global summit in New York, inviting foster care advocates and airline CEOs. Daniel presented the platform's impact and 1,000 kids served, 50 countries reached. The room gave a standing ovation, and Elena, seated in the front row, wiped away a tear. After, she pulled him aside. "I have something to tell you," she said. They walked to a quiet rooftop overlooking Manhattan, the city lights a glittering sea. "I'm stepping down as CEO," she said. Daniel froze. "Why? You love this." Elena smiled. "I do, but Sophia and Lily need me more, and I want to start something new, with you." She explained her plan, a nonprofit to expand the platform's model to other industries: housing, education, healthcare. "I can't do it without you," she said. "Not just as a partner in work, but in life." Daniel's breath caught. He'd spent years running from connection, afraid of failing. But here, with Elena, he saw a future. "I'm all in," he said, and they kissed, the skyline a witness to their beginning. The nonprofit, called Skyward, launched 6 months later, with Daniel and Elena as They hired a diverse team, including former foster kids who brought raw perspective. Sophia and Lily, now 9 and 11, became unofficial mascots, their artwork decorating the office. Daniel's life was unrecognizable, full of purpose, love, and chaos. He proposed to Elena on a Horizon flight, in first class, with the girls giggling in the next row. The wedding was small, in a Dallas park, with Karen as maid of honor and Lily scattering petals. Skyward grew, partnering with global NGOs, and Daniel's platform became a model for tech-driven social good. He never forgot that flight. The moment he stood up in 2A, one choice had rippled outward, touching lives he'd never imagined. As he and Elena planned their first Skyward summit, Daniel reflected on his journey. He wasn't just a coder anymore. He was a husband, a stepdad, a changemaker, and it all started with a seat. The end. Thank you for diving into this heartwarming story. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Share what moved you or how you'd make a difference like Daniel. And give a shout out to your amazing countries, the USA or UK, that inspire stories of kindness and connection every day.